What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the LAN Party Podcast. Tyler's not here today, so I'll go ahead and take over his announcement of the date. It is Tuesday. Those are nice. Tuesday, January 14th, 2019, and we are 5 minutes late. Or 2 minutes early. If you're going by our 4:37 standard, we're 2 minutes early. No idea where Tyler's at. I just woke up from a nap about 20 minutes ago. Actually, a second nap. And we got Nate and Tyler here, or Nate and Nick here. I'm still in my just woke up from a nap mood. Couple things that I want to kind of talk about today, but I'm just going to kind of dive right into it with one of the most notable topics that's happened in the past week or so. Not that it pertains much to anybody in this room because we haven't played the game much lately. And I don't know all the details surrounding the occurrence, but I guess Activision and Bungie have separated. Like, as a team, Activision is no longer involved in Destiny. So Bungie is now solely in charge of that title and that franchise, which, not that anything Activision ever really did for me in that game bothered me, but I do think that's a good thing, because when Bungie doesn't have people on their backs causing problems, it's going to be... Apparently they were pretty much like 80 to 90% of the driving force behind the most recent expansion, Forsaken. And apparently that expansion got like rave reviews. And everybody's like, this is what Destiny 2 should have been. It's fantastically done, really good work, really enjoyed everything, this and that and the other. And Activision pretty much played no part in that. And so everybody's kind of like, well, if Activision can create something so great, or if Bungie can create something so great without Activision, why are we... this should be a good step in the right direction for Bungie and Destiny 2 in general, because that was apparently a pretty big deal. And like I said, I don't know entirely why Activision stepped away. I don't think anybody was like bought out or purchased. I think Activision and Bungie just went their separate ways, and Bungie took Destiny with them.
Yeah, I don't even know if their contract expired or anything like that.
No, I don't think it did. I think they're like, all right, we're going our separate ways. And all I can see is like everybody in the Destiny community is like praising the lords of gaming, because they're like, finally, no more Activision. Again, we play the game off and on. Nate and I do. Nick plays it sometimes too, because he got it for free.
Yeah.
We play it off and on here and there, and it's a fun game, but there's never anything that I've played in it that's made me angry at Activision. But I guess that's probably because I don't play it enough to know. Like, I don't play it enough to have serious problems with the game. And when you start to have serious problems with the game, you go and research it, and that's when you find out that, well, Activision said, and then Bungie tried, and then Activision did this, and that's when you kind of learn which people to dislike.
Yeah, like, we usually end up playing after they've kind of fixed everything, or most
yeah.
of it.
Well, and like I've thought about getting that Forsaken expansion too when it's cheap, but like I just can't justify spending $45 for a full fucking expansion.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's at least what it launched at, I think. Or you could get, for $70, you could get Destiny 2 and Forsaken. Ooh.
I mean, I got it for free, but damn, that's
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's interesting. It might push me to go back to it at some point. I'm not positive. Definitely something to think about, though. So I don't know. It's it's interesting, and I don't know. I keep reading somewhere too that like Destiny or maybe it's Activision may not be involved with Blizzard anymore. Like people are trying to push Activision off the Blizzard platform.
No. That's never going to happen because most of the original Blizzard people are gone.
Well,
it is active Blizzard now.
What I know is the thing though is after all this riling up with the Destiny 2 stuff and Bungie and them, there's been a lot of discussion too about. There's been a lot of talk in the air about Activision leaving Blizzard, like, and doing their own thing. And because really the only thing they use Blizzard for at this point in time is PCs.
Yeah.
And granted, I don't know, I don't really play Diablo or whatever, Hearthstone or Overwatch, I think is also on the Blizzard launcher.
Yeah.
I don't play any of those games, so I don't know how involved Activision is in those other than launching COD on the Blizzard launcher.
Yeah. You see, the problem with them, like, separating or working independently is Activision bought Blizzard, like, or merged with them, like, 7 to 10 years ago. So they're pretty much one company now.
Yeah, I mean,
like I said, most of the original Blizzard people are gone. They couldn't stand Activision and they left.
Well,
so
I don't know. I just know that there's been a lot of talk in the air about this being the first step in quite a lot of change coming to Activision.
This is probably a lot of fans because a lot of them would probably like to see Blizzard separate because a lot of them are their hardcore PC players that want an actual Diablo 4 and a StarCraft 3. But it's neither of those probably never going to happen.
Diablo 4 will probably happen. It just won't happen until they realize how much they fucked up with Diablo Immortal.
Yeah. But StarCraft 3 is like kind of like is turning into like Half-Life 3. They can never make it.
Yeah, like I'm confident, and I'm not even a Diablo player, but I'm confident that there will be a Diablo 4. Because they're gonna need to line their pockets with something after Immortal launches, because that's not gonna make them money. Just not.
You say launch, but you mean crash and burn.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, it has to take off before it can crash. So it's gonna get like 2 feet off the ground, and then both of its engines are gonna just quit, and it's gonna plummet right back down, and it's just gonna slide right off the runway into a bunch of trees, explode, and cause a forest fire and burn the earth down. It's not gonna just be some normal oopsies. We had a little incident.
We had a rough launch. We can no, they ain't gonna be able to fix this. You're the Diablo fan. What's your thoughts?
Oh, he's not gonna play that fucking game.
I know he's not gonna play the game, but out of all of us, he's played it the most.
Well, yeah. Like, so what do you think then the likelihood of having a Diablo 4 is?
I didn't think there was gonna be Diablo 3, so I don't know.
Oh well.
They're pretty like secretive, I guess you'd say.
They're kind of like Bethesda.
Bethesda's not secretive. We found out about Fallout 4 like a month before it came out.
Like when they announced Diablo 3, I was like, holy shit, they're making a Diablo 3.
Interesting.
Check Walmart for listings because apparently they can't keep it off their internet store.
Oranges says they will need money, but I doubt it will be Diablo 4. Interesting. Yeah. Well, then where are they going to get their money? I mean, I expect that they
More
have
card
built
games.
Yeah, they've built into their monthly or their yearly like budget and income and like financial statements that they're going to expect to receive X amount of money from Immortal. Like they're expecting something from it.
Blizzard is really good at making games
it's return on investment.
They're really good at making games that people cannot stop playing, so I'm sure they'll figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
throw in a few microtransactions.
Yeah, and well, do we know if Immortal is going to cost anything, or is it going to be free to play and then like games as a service kind of thing?
I have no idea.
I can't remember if they discussed
it. I wanted to Google it.
I'm going to look it up on the App Store real quick and see if there's any information on it. I'm sure it's not because it's not like released yet, but let's see here. Nate, this isn't that kind of show.
It's Getting toasty in here.
I actually was about to search games as a service on the Play Store.
I'd hate to know what that brings back.
Diablo Immortal.
Yeah, because Activision they're hurting because, surprise, surprise, Black Ops 4 sucks.
No.
There's not even a campaign.
I'm telling you right now, the FPS genre, I think, is on a downfall at the moment. To be completely honest with you, I think it
Armour's
is.
going to swoop in with their new game.
Yeah.
And they're just going to take all the money.
Bohemia Interactive's going to be like, all right, guys, we got you hardcore FPS fans.
Except for the console plebs, I guess, won't be able to enjoy that.
I would say, will this one run?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
Hype out for mobile games is big right now, but the PC players are super upset, and rightfully so. Yeah, I agree.
Is there a hype for mobile games?
I mean, there is a market
I can't stand
for
playing
it.
games on my phone.
I can't
touchscreen
either.
Just is not
But
good.
I will say, she's right in that PC players are mad because they built PCs to play it. Console players are going to be mad because they bought consoles to play it. But people that play games on their phone on their lunch breaks or between classes or like on the train on the way home, those people are going to appreciate stuff like this. But still, because I can totally get that. There's a huge push right now going for mobile games. I mean, and that era started right around Fallout Shelter. That's kind of what pushed it.
There you are.
Over and started gaining traction.
Well, I mean, I like mobile games, but I don't like something like Diablo, like a full-fledged game on my phone.
No.
I just don't enjoy playing that. I prefer something that's more simple. You know what I mean?
Something to waste your time,
like Fallout
I've
Shelter
been part of this conversation the whole time.
Right.
Or the RuneScape they're bringing to
just make sure
the
we're not
phone.
muted this time, are we?
No.
Okay.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to have conversations with oranges in the chat.
Making sure.
RuneScape's probably one of the most advanced games I can see being a fun mobile game, just
Yeah,
because the controls aren't so
Yeah,
complicated.
the controls aren't complicated, and you do a lot of busy work in that game anyways, so it's just a waste time, man.
Yep, exactly.
That's all mobile games are for.
Well, and like I said, though, yeah, I agree. There should not be a AAA title like Diablo on mobile.
Like Diablo also, you have when you're playing on the computer, you have 10 keys of skills that you can use. How are you supposed to fucking do that on a phone?
You have I think it's movement. One's a basic attack, and then you have your hotbar at the bottom, which is stupid on a.
What if you accidentally hit one and uses all of your mana because they're all right there?
You're boned.
Yeah.
I agree, Oranges. Fallout Shelter was a great game. I've got it on pretty much all platforms now.
It would be easier on a phone like yours, but on a phone like mine, no way in hell.
It's just I don't understand the desire for such a market. Again, I understand that there's people out there that play it to kill time and to just burn their spare time, and because there's people that oh, I like to play games, and then they're oh, what do you play? Oh, I play Clash of Titans on my cell phone. There's those people.
I play Farmville.
But yeah, I don't think that should have been.
Still play Farmville.
Now, the way we're talking, I think we should clarify. I don't think it's a problem they turned Diablo into a mobile game. I think it's a problem they turned that into their
main Diablo
title.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they should have done what Bethesda did with Fallout. They did Fallout Shelter as an appetizer.
Here's a supplementary thing.
And then Fallout 4 came out, and it was the main course, and everybody's okay, cool, so we can play Fallout at home, and then when we go and leave, we can play our little free mobile game on our way to work and stuff. We can do all that stuff. I can plug those in if you really want them.
Well, I just seeing if you fix it.
I mean, it's not hard to fix. I have to.
Sure last time we tried it didn't really work out?
Well, because I was using that plug for John's non-existent microphone. Yeah.
Right. Whatever. We'll do it next week.
Such a small screen and battery life, it can't be a long-term play. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Not the main announcement. Yeah, and that's the other thing. You built an entire convention about your games, and that was the title that was supposed to bring people to your convention, and you're mobile game, and everybody's
what?
Yeah,
they all wasted that money to go there for a mobile game announcement.
Yeah, all your hardcore PC and console players are this is not why we were here.
Well, hopefully, this whole thing. By the way, I looked it up. It doesn't say price. It says pre-register for early access beta gameplay on the the Play Store.
On the mobile app?
Yeah, on Diablo Immortal.
Yep.
It's an already full-fledged game they made in China. Why do they need a
If
access beta?
If you pre-register, we may invite you to the early access program for this game.
I'd say it's like it's literally a reskin. People have looked this up. It's a reskin of a Chinese knockoff that knocked off Diablo.
Right. The turnout would have been better. Crickets when they announced that.
It came full circle.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
they even paid the same goddamn company that did the knockoff to reskin it.
Well, and
that's hilarious. It's like the amplifier incest that goes around in the music industry, because Fender made the Fender Bassman, and then Marshall copied it to make the Marshall Blues Breaker, and then Fender just now copied that to make the Bass Breaker.
But like, I hope that this whole Diablo Immortal shit on mobile devices, like, kills this whole concept of doing a main title on, like, a rival. Like, I hope that any company that was considering doing a full release on mobile devices for, like, a AAA title, I hope they look at this
after that.
Yeah, they'll look at that and be like,
is this an April Fool's joke, or
be like, it's like somebody, the guy who was like the lead of that project was watching the reveal of Diablo Immortal. He's like, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna be able to take this to my boss, and this is gonna fast track my project for Call of Duty 5 or whatever on mobile. And then they see the reaction, and he's like, Tom, so you remember that plan that I like proposed to you, like that business model that I pitched to you about like doing a full release COD game on mobile? I think we should just cut that, like, just not do it. Don't do it. It was a bad idea.
Put that on the back burner. We'll think of something else in the meantime.
It wasn't my best work.
We could only be so hopeful that that's the case.
Yeah, but I mean, and it very possibly could be, because you look at stuff like what's been happening with EA with the fucking microtransactions surrounding that, and like this huge push against microtransactions, which to some extent is kind of stupid.
That, and also like the whole Bethesda scandals that are ongoing.
Like this kind of stuff makes the gaming industry better in the long run, not because it's innovative, but because it's fucking stupid. And all the other game companies are like, ooh, yeah, let's not be that. Let's not do that. The red shirt guy actually asked that at BlizzCon. The video is great. Yeah.
I know. That's what I was quoting.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we quote it all the time, and that's so gonna be
beautiful.
It was hysterical though, but like
I also like the other guy who was just like, so basically asked, he's like, do you have anything else in the works that are like main titles that are for stuff like that, and how long does it take, and how many resources did you use on this instead of that shit, you fucking dumbass.
Yeah, it's pretty much
basically what he asked in a nutshell.
It was kind of like, thank you for announcing this. Do you have anything real?
Yeah, he's like, that's cool and all, but where's what I came for?
He's like, are you making anything for PC and console? And they're like, no, we're not.
Not right now, no.
Not at all. Everybody's just like, really? Really, dude?
Do you do refunds on tickets? Because I'm going to leave, if that's cool with you.
Unfortunately, this was like the last day of BlizzCon, so I was like, yeah.
Big oof.
Yeah, it was the last day, like the last thing. Like this was the grand finale.
Yeah. I don't know, BlizzCon's like 3 or 4 days.
That's why Nate said earlier, he's like, these people like literally took trips and made plans to go to this convention to hear what the next Diablo title was going to be.
Because they hyped it up so much before that, and everybody gets there and like,
everybody knows what your favorite
Did you
thing
see
to do is
they
slay
fucking
demons with your friends.
They changed
online, anywhere. Everybody's like,
oh no.
it's like
yeah.
yes.
It's like concern.
Wait, what?
Concern cheers.
The funny thing is, like, you could see too, like, there's already, like, of course this happened a while ago, but like shortly after there were already shitloads of memes, because like they changed the profile picture on all of their social media from the Diablo 3 logo to the Diablo Immortal logo, and like 2 days later they changed it back to Diablo 3. And one of them, somebody commented on the Facebook one, and he's like, yeah, I'd have changed my profile picture back too, to be honest with you.
Beautiful.
But yeah, like I'm hoping that this also kind of helps because like I talk about it all the time, and you starting to see gameplay for it and like all this other stuff about Anthem, and like Anthem looks like it's gonna be really, really, really good because BioWare makes super good games.
But I'm also worried.
But I'm worried because it's EA.
Yeah, it's like everybody's like, this looks great, but EA is like that big shadow over it. Like we just can't get over it.
Well,
no, EA is like the really ugly sister. Yeah, you got
and you're like
this really hot girl, and
yeah.
you got this ugly
and you're like
monster.
We can be together, but you're gonna have to spend a bunch of time with her, and you're like,
It's like we come as a pair. And it's just like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
And then what I really wish companies would start doing now is like they're doing like market research to try and develop games that they think their consumers want. What they should do is go back to like the 90s and early 2000s where they made games that they themselves would want to play.
Exactly.
Instead of trying to tell your consumers
you
what they want to do.
Anybody at Blizzard wanted to play a fucking Diablo mobile game.
No. But here, and to that point, and I know I mention them all the time, and I know I mention this game all the time, but I really think that it was a game changer. And I think Sea of Thieves is exactly like what you're talking about, where the developers made a game that they wanted to play.
Yeah,
they wanted the open world adventure pirate game, and they made it. And that was the first game ever like that. I can't find another game that you can compare to that one on an equal level. There's not another open world sandbox game that you forge your own adventures like that. There's not. There's usually some form, albeit probably mild, of a quest line and a structure to it. And I feel like, and they've already started this big trend of, okay, now we're going to start doing some open world adventure games like this that are just kind of tools, not rules.
Well, and I'm trying to bring this up. A lot of people or a lot of like analysts are forecasting a game developer crash.
I can see that.
Like the Bethesda pushback, the EA pushback. They experienced so many setbacks and negative from the stuff they put out that they're just gonna crash because they're not doing anything.
It's gonna be the same thing that what happened in like the 80s, where the Western market is gonna crash, and then Nintendo's gonna be like, "Hey, you want some fun games?"
Oh.
Yeah, and the same thing happened in like the early 2000s, like around 2000. Actually, it was right around 2000. There was a big.
You got the hiccups now? You okay? You gonna be all right?
Yep.
Right now's a good time to be starting up some new video game companies.
That's why like all the indie developers are popular because they're making games they want to
play.
Yeah, they're making games that like they're like,
well, I mean,
hey, you know what would be cool if, like, Shovel Knight is a great example because it's just like, hey, you know what I like? I like Mega Man style gameplay, kind of also like Metroid kind of map design and level design, and also what if we had a knight that was the main character and he used a shovel? Like, what AAA company is gonna be like, that'll sell?
None. They'll be like, does it have microtransactions? No. Get it off my table. Just make it leave.
They're gonna be like, why the hell is this fucking knight have blue on him and he uses a shovel? What is that? What is wrong with you? What does he do? Dig?
Well, I mean, you look at
he digs a lot of stuff.
He does, yeah. But you look, I mean, even like you go back and some of the recent years we have had, but it's been all indie developers. Minecraft is another perfect example of a game that developers made to play because they wanted to play it. There wasn't
anything like that.
There wasn't anything like it before it. And when it launched and it was as wildly popular as it was, everybody else was like, I want that. I'm going to make something different but the same. It's going to be the same concept and we'll release it as a AAA title. Looking at you, Rust, and Ark, and
all those survival
crafting games.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean, and it started with Minecraft. It really did. Like, Mojang built a game they wanted to play, and they released it, and everybody loved it.
Yeah. I mean, Minecraft is, for all intents and purposes, probably one of the greatest games that have been released in the past 10 years.
Yeah, because it's again, it was
Isn't it older than 10 years?
no. I think I was gonna say I thought it came out in like the early 2000s.
But either way, it's like one of the greatest games of our generation, at least.
Oh yeah.
Most influential for sure.
Yeah, because again, it changed. It created a whole new mainstream genre.
I mean, also you think about the battle royale craze and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was started with Minecraft Let's Players doing Hunger Games style. Battle royales.
And somebody's like, "Oh, it'd be really cool is if we actually made like this kind of game.
Made this with like first person or third person shooters, stuff like that. That'd be cool." And then, what's it called? PUBG came out, and then it took off from there.
Mm-hmm.
But
which is an Arma mod.
Yeah.
But Minecraft did it first, so.
Yeah, I mean, I give mad props to Minecraft because
is it an Arma mod or did they mod it from a DayZ server?
Okay, so it was a DayZ mod.
DayZ is also
I know,
mod.
I know, but I mean, is it Arma or is it a mod of a mod?
Yes. It's Arma at its base. This is why none of those games work. Shit.
This is so awkward.
Somebody made a flowchart of it starts with Arma and then all the mods made from it.
Yeah.
And it's just
oh my god, speaking of flowcharts. So I want to deviate from our current topic for just a second because I still cannot believe this game is as madly popular as it is by any standard. Atlas. It's the new Studio Wildcard game. They make Ark, so they made this pirate MMO survival game thing that is like
a big piece of shit.
It is a bigger, steamier pile of shit than Ark was when it launched.
Oh, that's so disgusting.
When it first came out.
When you level up, it's much like Ark, and I'm going to try and find the video. But like when you level up, you can add points to certain skills and stuff, like Ark, to unlock certain things. But the flowchart looks like a toddler got a crayon box and just played connect the dots with it's
like
not.
Their skill trees are fucking ridiculous.
It looks. I'm gonna see if I can find it because it's just like absolutely
oranges. Is
atrocious.
That Minecraft 9 years?
No, I think her marriage.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good for you.
Rust and Ark are fun. Really, all the ones I've played are Conan, 7 Days, DayZ, all fun. I think it's close to 10 years though. Chance started playing at the beginning of the marriage. They're going on 9 years now. So yeah, Atlas is terrible. It's a fucking clone and it's stupid. Yes, it is. It's very bad. And the fact that people thought that this was gonna kill Sea of Thieves really makes me laugh, because like, oh, Minecraft. She did say yes, Minecraft. Okay, interesting. Maybe I'll shut my trap. But like. Yeah, and I do think for the most part, Conan might be a little different because I don't know much about that. But a lot of those other survival games, DayZ is probably the closest to the survival genre that Minecraft is. But I think that you're spawned in a procedural world that you don't have anything. You got to go break stuff down, get resources, build stuff, build houses, build shelter. That started with Minecraft, I think.
And in Ark, you even start by punching trees.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think that...
no, you can pick up sticks and a rock and make a stone axe.
And I'm not saying...
You can't have forgotten.
I'm also not saying that Rust and Ark aren't good. Like, they're not fun. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't think... Like, I strongly believe that if we never got Minecraft, those two games wouldn't exist. I am super confident about that.
My God, could you imagine the world without Minecraft?
No, like, I really can't.
Minecraft.
Yeah,
Minecraft
would. None of the games that are popular now would probably exist. Honestly,
like Space Engineers, there would be no Space Engineers without Minecraft.
Yeah, we lose some good games, but we might have some other good games in their place.
Possibly.
But on the bright side, we wouldn't have Fortnite.
That's true. Is it worth the trade-off?
Oddly enough, and hear me out,
would we be friends?
There's been one good thing come out of Fortnite. The creator is buying up a shit ton of land
I saw that.
in South Carolina,
so that people don't tear it down and.
So it's not being cut down.
Yeah.
He's using most of his profits from that game to do that, and it's like.
Props, bro. Props.
Hate the game, but like what you're doing.
They're also. He's also a huge fan of memes because there was a meme going around to thank the bus driver, and they added it in the game to where now before you jump off the bus, you can thank the bus driver.
Hang on, I'm gonna try and okay.
Oh, let's see. Is Dragon still playing Atlas?
Dude, what do you think the answer to that question is?
Well, it's such a buggy mess. I don't know if he can play Atlas.
He's been playing it. He's not playing it now, but he's been playing it.
Well, let me guess, he's an Arc.
No, he's not playing anything right now.
Oh.
What in South Carolina? I don't know where in South Carolina. I think he was just buying a bunch of forests because people, like, they were trying to build, like, business, like, big company, like, huge buildings to tear all that stuff down, and he was buying it to...
I don't know. Look it up.
Input.
Okay. Oh, by the way, so I'm not, like... This, I just watched this video a while back, and I have to show you all. I'll switch it to the television audio so that you can hear it. The input lag, like he sits there, he pushes the button, and it's like 2 or 3 seconds before he grabs something.
Wow.
Like, that is how bad.
I couldn't play that.
I couldn't either. Could you imagine trying to get in combat like that? It would be impossible. You couldn't do it.
It's super high intelligence gameplay. You have to plan your moves fucking 5 seconds in advance.
Look at this.
Lag is so catastrophically bad. In what way did someone at the office say, yep, this is ready?
Look how slow that is.
Does he have a frame rate counter going?
Let me show you what I mean
Yeah.
again. I pointed this...
34. And he's got a computer pretty much on par with ours.
Oh boy.
out earlier, but let me show you what I mean. I'm going to press E to harvest. I'm going to press it right near the mic so you can hear when I press it.
What the fuck?
That one was better.
So, yeah, that one's good. Not too good. What the fuck?
I just can't believe. I agree with him though. How can anybody see that? And look at this.
All right,
look at
ship
this.
it.
This is the world chat. This is the tutorial. Why did they do that?
Because you can totally read that.
Let me see if I can't find.
What, the skill trees?
Yeah, I want to find the skill tree because it's an absolute joke. There it is. All right, so he levels up here.
Oh my God, it's the exact.
One point
It's
available.
Arc UI
Yeah.
2 health. We always do health.
with different.
Look at the tree.
Oh, that's a fantastic skill tree right there. Look how smoothly that's...
Ding 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 ding. Got to him.
What the fuck?
What?
Are you kidding me? Is this a joke? Is this a prank? I'm legitimate. I've smudged my glasses now.
It looks like a meme format.
Who draws a skill tree like that?
What the fuck am I looking at?
I've seen 7-year-olds
Wildcard
make
has
better
another
flow
branch that made
charts.
another similar game. It's called Dark and Light. It's essentially Ark but fantasy based, so you can be an elf or a dwarf, and it's terrible too.
Fuck are these idiots thinking?
It's got so much potential, but they're so
I
bad
was
with this.
pissy
They
because I
are.
couldn't get their servers working
No,
on
they're
day one. Now
terrible
I'm just pissy
developing it.
because...
I mean, look at Arc. It took them like 2 years
This.
to finally get to where they are now.
They have good ideas, but I mean, their execution is...
Shit.
Yeah, not
Okay, no one
exactly
gets to
good.
whine about Fallout 76 anymore.
Look at that.
What the fuck? Wait,
What
look
is
at that! Look at that one right there. It scrolls the wine flask. It scrolls all the way down to something that doesn't seem related.
I was
God,
pissy because I couldn't get their servers working on day one. Now I'm just pissy because
Like,
this.
so wait, what's the? You talking about the water keeper right here?
That water keeper goes all the way down.
Yeah, it goes
Past
all the
that.
way down past the
Okay,
archery
no one
one.
gets to whine about
And
Fallout
so does
76
the one
anymore.
next to it.
It skips like 2-3 levels.
What the heck? Do people not know how flowcharts work?
Apparently not. Jesus Christ.
It's not rocket science. Although I will say this game has presented a couple very comical bugs within this game. At one point or another.
I'm sure. Something that this is this big of a mess, I'm sure has.
He
What
his
the hell? What? The
What? What is that?
What the shit?
I just can't get, and the frame rate is it's just an abomination. Absolutely terrible.
How to make game.
Nate, how does this resemble Arc Alpha?
What do you mean?
Didn't you play Arc when it very shortly after?
Yeah, but my computer was awful at the time, so I can't really.
Also, like, it rubber bands like a mofo. But you said flowchart, and that made me think of that. Like,
Oh, damn.
immediately. That's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, you know what doesn't look like a flowchart?
That's
This.
Looks like a madman, trying to piece together a plot for something.
Yeah. You just have to spread that out on a wider board and use like colored yarn.
Mm-hmm. And thumbtacks to connect.
But
all
that's
the
just that was awful. That was absolutely atrocious. I can't even remember what we were talking about before this because that's such a joke. Like, that is so bad. That is so bad. And you know the thing is, like, it is clearly 100% clearly built on Arc's engine. Literally exactly the same. They didn't do anything like they did with Fallout 4 to Fallout 76 or Fallout 3 to Fallout 4 where they modified the engine and improved it. They literally copy-pasted the engine. And it's such a copy-paste that players with a controller can scroll down to an unmarked button on the menu, in the main menu, select it, and create a new arc.
Really?
That is, like, no joke. You can create a new arc.
Does it work?
I don't know.
Oh, that'd be bad if it did. Like, oh yeah, you also have like a mini arc bundled in there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it looks like they went several versions back. It's so bad.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
It's pretty pathetic, honestly.
like that's
What has everybody stopped trying? Is that what's happening right now?
Pretty much.
Also, everybody
Hey,
forgets how to do
Rare.
PR.
Don't forget about Rare.
Yeah, okay.
Rare's the good guy here.
Rare is rare.
Out
Yeah.
of, like,
Let's leave it at
That's
that.
true.
Out of okay, they're 1 out of 100 developers or something stupid.
Yeah.
Exactly. They are
That's the
appropriately
Project Red.
named. They are
They haven't made
appropriately
games in
named.
so long, they don't count now.
Well, I mean, they got
It's like
Who?
fucking-
CD Projekt Red.
they got gameplay
yeah.
footage out.
But yeah,
They
I
take their
mean,
time in their games. There's nothing wrong with that.
What's going on, Archie? Welcome to the podcast. Like it's just like more gaming companies need to learn from Rare. More companies need to learn how to interact with their audience. More companies need to learn how to do beta testing programs. More companies need to learn how to roll out bug-free. Because, albeit, the launch was rough for Sea of Thieves only because, and I'm serious when I say this, only because their servers got absolutely flooded with people. Like, it far exceeded their stress testing in the early beta. So, when the game actually launched, there really weren't many bugs with the game. It was a pretty solid title. So not only did it launch well, with the exception of the early server hiccups with them trying to accept the huge number of people, but then they continue every week to tell us, okay, this is what we're working on, these are the things we're making changes to, this is, this and that and the other, like, we plan on improving this and fixing this and taking this out and rebalancing this. Like, communication is so key.
Yeah, I know. It seems like every other company out there needs to relearn how to do PR. Because none of them know how to do PR. Like, Battlefield's PR is shit. Bethesda's PR right now is shit. Fucking EA's PR has always been shit. Activision's PA has always been shit.
It's a pain in the ass.
Oh, did you guys hear Activision and
Yeah, we talked about that at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't really know why,
they
but
divorced and then
Yeah.
Bungie took the kids?
yeah,
Well,
that's exactly what Nick said.
Yeah. They assume the speculations I've heard is that since Destiny 2 didn't perform as well as Activision thought, that's why it was such a clean split. It's like Bungie's like, "Hey, I want out," and Activision's
That's what
like,
I wanted
"Whatever."
to talk about. And we've got I think we've got 20 minutes left to talk. So,
15.
Nate, you and I, and Nick, we played Titanfall 2. It was a pretty solid game.
I
Pretty
wish
good
I
game.
bought it.
It's a good game.
Yeah,
I will
know.
give.
I played the first Titanfall. It was a great game.
Here's what happened. I started researching because apparently there's a Titanfall 3 in the works. But
Big
so
bucks.
there's when Titanfall 1 launched, it was an Xbox exclusive that launched with the Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody got, and this was the first game for this company, like the first AAA title that this company released.
Yeah.
And it was a great game, but they launched it as an Xbox exclusive. And so when Titanfall 2 came around and it was time to launch that and it was no longer an exclusive, everybody was under the impression.
Everybody still thought it was an
So
exclusive.
essentially what happened is EA ended up buying that company because not only was it doomed to fail sales-wise because of the previous exclusivity deal with Microsoft, but then they launched it between Call of Duty and
launched-
Battlefield.
Yeah.
The two arguably biggest titles of that year.
Like
and,
I said, that was a straight-up attempt by EA to go for blood on
And it was.
to Activision
And they used fucking Titanfall 2.
as the sacrificial pawn.
Yeah.
It was really shitty, honestly.
And what happened is it put I can't remember the name of that studio now that made
Respawn.
Titanfall. Respawn Gaming, is that it?
Yeah, Respawn
Yeah.
Entertainment, I think is what it is.
They put Respawn in a position where they were in a financial crisis because they couldn't compete with the sales of COD and they couldn't compete with the sales of Battlefield. They were literally just making enough sales to stay above water. And so EA bought them out because EA effectively bankrupted them by launching them there.
Yeah. It's really shitty.
And so now EA has full control over the next Titanfall game.
If I were them, I'd just fold and then go make another company.
Because let's be honest, I think Titanfall is the first like really solid mech game we've had in a long time. MWO is good, but it's kind of old.
Not
Yeah.
really. They've updated it.
Well, but I know, but it originally launched.
It's only 4 years old.
Is it really?
I mean, in terms of internet culture, that's ancient. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Okay, it might be 5 or 6, but it's
But I mean, Titanfall's gameplay is so tight. Like, I mean, you running around as a pilot, badass. You can do basically whatever you want. You have such freedom of mobility in that game. It's crazy. It's insane.
Yeah,
and you can do really well. And then the mechs as well are also.
Oh
really
yeah, the mechs
tight,
are super
really
well
balanced
done.
between them.
Yeah, and I'll say this now: a lot of people compare those two games. Completely different.
Yeah, they're completely different.
It's
But
like
you
the
talk
whole,
about
the whole mobility thing. That is not Mech Warrior. Never has been.
But like, I think the Titanfall was such a good title, and it
just got totally
crushed
shafted.
because of where it was released.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate.
And like one of the videos that I was watching about it too, he's like, Call of Duty launched in this week, and then 2 weeks later, Battlefield 1 launched in this week. Now, if you're a game publisher, what week are you not gonna launch your game? He's like, oh yeah, right between them. Well, that's when Titanfall 2 launched.
Yeah. I mean, I regret buying Battlefield 1 and not Titanfall 2, honestly.
Yeah.
I got them as a bundle. It was like $40 for both of them.
Yeah. And I think Titanfall 2 is a solid game. And I love the
paid-
campaign
I
in
would've
Titanfall
rather
2.
paid full price for Titanfall 2 than Battlefield, though, honestly.
The most developed game we've ever played. Oh, man.
That is fucking true.
What is
That
the
just
most
hit-
developed game that we've ever played?
Titanfall, probably.
Okay, so are you talking about like the most pre-developed game that launched,
That
like
launched
that had
well.
the best launch, or are you talking about like games that have just been consistently developed in response to player feedback? Like that's because those are two different things. Like,
Played No Man's Sky. So.
oh yeah, so that's not
shit.
on that list.
But I mean, now it is basically a different game. Now it's
That's
a whole
true.
different beast.
Yeah, it is.
So if we're talking about most developed game in that sense, then that might take the cake.
The second one. So games that have launched and have been redesigned and restructured for player like based on player feedback.
Probably the most I've played would probably be Battlefield 4.
That is a pretty developed, because they completely switched teams after that one had such a shitty launch.
Yeah, I mean that one basically fucking that shit the bed on arrival, and then afterwards they kept developing it. It's probably one of the best shooters on the market right now.
God, that's a tough decision. Nate, what do you think? Most developed game you've ever played?
I don't know.
Sea of Thieves has come a long way.
Sea of Thieves is kind of up there on my list. I'm trying to decide if that's the one I'm...
I feel like Star Citizen, I haven't played it, but I feel like that one's been pretty heavily developed.
Well, that doesn't count. It's not exactly released yet.
Yeah, it doesn't count, jackass.
Yeah, idiot.
I don't think it's ever going to be released, though.
Yeah,
so.
fair enough. Which is sad.
Yeah, especially with as much money as people spend on that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Nate?
I think the whole point is they just don't want to... Because when you release it, it's kind of like you're done. They just want to keep adding on to it.
Not if you do early access.
If they need to end the early access tag and say, basically, this is it. We're going to keep adding on, but this is the game now. And then we'll keep adding on.
I don't know. I think
the problem is when you release it as a full game and you keep adding on and those add-ons break the game, people are like, why am I paying $60 for a game that's broke?
Well, I mean...
And so you get that kind of thing going on.
Yeah, I see what you're coming from, though, but I doubt they're going to do stuff like that.
Like with Ark.
I mean, they need to finish the base of the game so they can release stuff on top of it and are less likely to break shit.
Listen, Ark is different. They fucking released paid DLCs in early access.
Yeah,
that shit pissed people off.
They released paid DLC for an early access title. That's fucking hilarious. And trash.
I think my pick would probably be, just because it's still like fresh on my mind, Sea of Thieves is probably, I think, the most developed game, and I have a lot of respect for Rare for like keeping up with it and like
and basically and definitely owning up to the
they'll own up to shit that they do. Like the whole barrels change, they're like, yeah, we had Pioneer feedback in the early Pioneer testing, and they told us that they didn't really like it, and we probably should have relayed the information to you that this was going to be a change that was coming, and instead we just rolled it out, and they're like, and we'll do a much better job of communicating these changes in the future. And now they're giving us like weeks of like warning about things that are going to be coming, like the double gun fix and all this other shit. So like, I think the most developed game that I've ever played would probably be Sea of Thieves, just because how well they respond to player feedback and listen to the community. And
yeah, I really like the community in Sea of Thieves. Honestly.
Yeah. Nick's really pondering his answer here.
Because I like to see a Thieves answer, but to not repeat it.
Sea of Thieves?
Sea of Thieves, shut up.
Yeah.
The only game I've seen like that came from like when they launched, they had nothing. Now they have a lot of stuff.
Minecraft?
No. Fuck Minecraft. Shut up.
How dare you?
Probably, honestly, MWO.
MWO.
When it first launched, they had next to nothing. You had your standard 12v12 match. Your mech got destroyed. You had to pay for that to get it repaired.
Nice.
And pay for ammo. They finally listened to community feedback, got rid of that. They finally have larger scale. I think it's 24 by 24, or it's you get respawns matches. People have been asking for that for a long time. Battle Royale. I know it sounds bad, but that's
player feedback. I mean,
if it was requested, whatever.
But it was also in the original Mech Warriors.
Okay, well that's fair.
Like it was in there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And I tell you what, there's another game, and it's a little bit less. It's not AAA, so you have to excuse the non-AAA thing. But, The Legend of Pirates Online, Nate. I think that's another game that I would put up there as one of the more developed games. 'Cause that is a fan-made recreation of Pirates of the Caribbean Online, and it is made by people who have never coded before in their life when they started the project. And they started the project, and it was essentially just the game engine with, like, cake people. Like, the people literally were just all pointy triangle and square people when they were... And the game's come so far and caught up pretty close to the original title. And they've done it all from scratch. They had nothing really to go off of other than client-side files. Like, they had to rewrite the scripts and completely re-script the game and make it more efficient. They've made more HD textures. They've added new stuff to the game that wasn't in the original because people have requested it. So that would probably be my second choice. But Sea of Thieves is definitely my first. But I think The Legend of Pirates Online, being as a fan-made recreation and as such a... I mean, it has no budget because it's has to be free or it's illegal.
Yeah.
So I would say that they've done pretty damn good.
And they managed to do it all with probably Disney, like, breathing down their neck, watching for...
I bet Disney's been keeping a close eye on them.
Yeah, it's like waiting for any little slip-up so they could sue them. It's like, you're using our title.
Like Soulja Boy with the Soulja game console.
Not near as bad. I mean,
well, you know
near as bad.
You know what's interesting about that with Disney, though?
Not exactly illegal.
There is a Pirates Online remake. There's several fan-made recreations. I think Talapo's probably the most refined. But there's one called Pirates Online Retribution that actually sells you subscription-like plans, which, again, is illegal because you're making money off copyrighted material without permission.
I mean, are they using, like, actual Pirates of the Caribbean stuff?
Yes, they're using. First off, the game itself was copyrighted, so
Yeah.
already you're using that because you're using the name. Second off, the game had Pirates Online characters in it, or Pirates of the Caribbean characters. You had Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann and Jack Sparrow and Barbossa, and Josh and McGibbs. So now you're using those copyrighted characters and the copyrighted ships and. So I don't know how they're not shut down yet. But this team, like, people offer to donate money to them, and they refuse. They're like, can't take donations. We love the game, so just play it and enjoy it, and that's enough for us. Which, mad respect. Like, I bitch about that game sometimes when I play it, but like, mad respect to the company, the people that put so much time. They pay for the servers out of pocket because, again, they can't charge people for them, so they pay for the servers to load their games on out of pocket.
Right before they finish the game, they need to reskin everything, rename all the shit, and be like, "This is now transformative, fair use. It's for sale now. Fuck you, Disney."
Disney would probably be like, "No, you used our original files."
They didn't. That's the impressive thing about it. That's why it took them so long to get this game up and running, because
they built it from
the ground up, pretty much. They used the client-side scripting and stuff as like a guideline, but they're using a different type of scripting, I think. Like, the original one was in a different script language.
I mean, that's absolutely transformative. It's like making an arrangement of something. You don't technically need a license to do that, I don't think. It's like making a cover, or like a really, really good cover. It's pretty darn transformative.
Well, you still need a copyright if you plan on selling it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because don't post it on YouTube because you'll get copyright strikes and lose all your money.
Even though it's transformative and fair use, but whatever.
Yeah,
well,
they'll be like, no. The other companies will be like, no.
With music, it's a little different because it's intellectual property.
Music law is a little bit different.
Yeah,
but like video and other things, I'm not sure if it's the same with games though.
Yeah, and YouTube does not give a fuck.
No, Twitch is pretty strict about copyright too. Like, they've muted sections of my Forza Horizon 4 streams because of copyrighted music.
Yeah.
That's why I don't listen to the radio in Forza Horizon 4. I also don't listen to the radio in Fallout 76 or Fallout 4 because copyright music.
Yep.
I don't want a chunk of my stream to get muted.
Yeah, except on YouTube they're taking away that
person's revenue.
Everything.
And then it goes to the person who claimed it, and there's nothing that they
So a random person or company could throw out a copyright claim and get everything but do nothing.
I've been thinking about, since one, nobody does anything about it. Two, it's a legitimate strategy, is making a fake company and then claiming a whole bunch of shit and making a whole ton of money, because nobody will do anything about it.
So unethical.
Yeah, I know, but it's
I'm pretty
sad.
sure that's probably illegal.
It is illegal, but nobody does anything about it. There are actual companies out there that do that.
Yeah, because like if you look at all of the videos we used to post on YouTube with our band, there's like a million copyright claims on every single one of them. And
That's
like
beautiful.
there shouldn't be, because we're playing music.
Yeah,
it's owned by like the band, the record company, and the publisher, not 48 other people.
Yeah, that's part of the thing. Is like your band could do an all original song, post it, somebody would throw a copyright claim on it, and you wouldn't get. Of course, you're probably not big enough, but you wouldn't get any money off.
The
of
difference will be, though, our music will be copyrighted before we release it, so we can actually fight it with the actual copyright.
I mean,
Except
still,
it's
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's YouTube. They do not give a. They don't care. They basically listen.
The person who makes the claim has basically all the initiative. The person who had the claim made against them doesn't have any initiative. Like, it's all left up to the claimant to tell YouTube if it's correct or not, which is fucked up.
Wait, like, so it's up to the person that is being claimed on copyright?
It's up to the person who claimed the video, which is really shitty. That's like a guilty until proven innocent thing. And they have a month where they can hold the revenue.
I'll fight it.
They have to respond.
Oh, I'll fight it.
Oh yeah, do what you got to do. But I mean, the system's against you.
Yeah, it's like people
That's
are fighting it.
Because like, if I own, like, and again, I don't know how it is with music, because again, music law is weirdly different. But I mean, you copyright by song or by group of song. So like you copyright an album, and then you copyright every song on the album, so that like you own it. And then also, one thing I've learned through my music business classes is that, like, for instance, all of our like Pro Tools sessions and stuff, save those and like keep reference of them, because they're date coded on when they were originally created and when like they were last edited, so you can see the original creation date. Somebody can fight that.
Yeah, if somebody tries to copy you, and you could be like, no, we wrote it first.
We wrote it first. Thanks for dropping in, Archie. I keep an eye out later tonight. We might do some Sea of Thieves tonight. Otherwise, it'll probably be sometime Thursday or Friday, maybe Saturday, sometime in those 3 days, if not all three of them. I have to figure out what my schedule is for the rest of the week. I work a lot this week, so we'll definitely be playing some Sea of Thieves again soon, hopefully within the next couple nights. So just kind of check back here around 10 Eastern time, usually is when we're live. But yeah, you can, and then you're also supposed to, like, a lot of people say to, like, when you get your copyright, like, send a self-addressed letter with the copyright in it to you, so that way you have it in paper when you received it, and then you own the copyright. So that way, that's more for, like, court cases. You can bring that to court and prove that you own the song.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, if you ever want to see how screwed up it is, you could probably like post like a minute clip of your band playing something, and you'll get a copyright.
Oh, I know.
Or you use it as a reference or a review clip or something, or commentary over top of it about the thing, which counts as transformative work, and it'll still get claimed. Yeah,
and it could be like something completely original that you all created. You'll still get claimed. Like,
well, again, with music, that gets tricky, because music law actually allows you to, like, it goes as deep as, like, copywriting phrases.
Which is dumb. Like, somebody got sued for a chord progression. Like, can you really copyright a chord progression? Or, like, a rhythm?
Depending on how it is presented, probably.
Well, I mean, not really.
I have to leave.
All right.
See you later.
See you, Nick.
Later. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's... like, music law is also interesting, too, in the fact that... Well, interesting. It's also kind of cruel in the fact, too, that, like... When somebody can take you to court and tell you that your melody was derived from their melody, and they'll, like, look at it upside down, backwards, and, you know, inverted to see if you took their melody and, like, flipped it backwards, or you changed whatever. Like, if they can tell that it was derived from an original melody,
that's really stupid.
Like, they'll analyze it back. I'm not kidding you. They will analyze it backwards, and they'll, like, sometimes they'll even take the staff and flip it upside down to see if you did it that way.
let's be honest, all right? Most work out there is derivative work.
Yeah.
Most of it is derivative.
All right, take it easy, Oranges. Thanks for dropping in.
Like, almost nobody comes up with something. This has never been done before. I didn't get this idea from anybody. I just decided to do it. Sometimes you hear something and you're like, that's a cool sound. What if I were to do something like this with that sound? Or like, I like that chord progression. Let me stick it to this rhythm and then write stuff over top of it. I mean, you're bound to get similarities unless everybody only ever does fucking 12-tone super atonal shit all the time. You're never ever going to get something completely original. Like, I mean, just look at the background tracks of a lot of like pop and country songs.
Oh yeah, it's all the same 4 chords.
Sitting there and it's like, or like just like the drum tracks and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
a lot of them are just doing the snap tracks in the background, and it's just like that was literally from that song, you know, that
in
was
the
released,
50s,
or like that was released like 3 months ago, and you decided you liked that sound, so you used it. So I mean,
well, this
pretty much everything is
podcast
derivative.
has been all over the place,
Absolutely.
and that's good. But we're now over a minute, and we got to figure out what we're doing after the podcast. So, we might be live again here later. It depends on what time everybody gets on their computers, because I have to work tomorrow, so I can't be on tremendously late. But we will be around. So we will see you all next time. Thanks for popping in and hanging out with us.
Bye bye.